I would just say, like, look at the science, and, like, trans women are women.
Is it equal opportunity for the biological women that are having to compete against them?
Well, maybe it just ups the game.
What's going on, everyone? James Klug here. Today I'm in Los Angeles, California, and I'm going to see if folks around here support transgender athletes competing in women's sports. Let's go talk to some people. Should transgender athletes be allowed to compete in women's sports?
Yes, 100%.
I think so, yes. Why not? That's what they chose to be, and I feel like they should have the right to, perform as how they want to.
Well, my answer is no.
Your answer's no.
That's right.
Okay. And what do you think?
I say no also.
And why do you say so?
Because transgender women are women.
Like I said, I think they should be able to perform as how they want to, but I feel like they earned their place, so they should be able to.
People point to, like, Florence Joyner,
Yep.
the FloJo,
Yep.
set the world record for the 100-meter dash.
Yeah.
Her world record wouldn't even qualify her for the 2020 men's Olympic competition. People are saying that this biological advantage is unfair to women. What do you have to say about that?
I don't know if it's a biological advantage, especially if they're taking hormones, right? So their testosterone levels are already going to be lower, which isn't going to give them a necessary advantage. So I would just say, like, look at the science, and, like, trans women are women, and that's kind of should just be the common understanding, and just, like, allow them to be who they are.
There's female athletes that are concerned about losing championships to transgender athletes because they're running faster or swimming faster. Do you think that that's a problem with interfering with championships and stuff?
That's a good question, because, like, I never really thought about it in that deep until you asked me right now, but because sometimes I feel like my boyfriend has an advantage in certain things, so, like...
Do you think could you beat your boyfriend in, like, maybe a running or swimming competition or weightlifting?
No, I can't. So that's a really good question. Now that makes me think about it twice. So, yeah. I'm not sure about my answer now.
Why do you guys say no, if you don't mind me asking?
Because genetically, I think they're superior.
In sports, if you're born a woman, you're genetically and physiologically
Inferior
different.
to a man's genes.
Yeah.
I mean, hands down.
Because I'm inferior. I cannot do.
Well, I hate to use that word.
Should transgender athletes be allowed to compete in women's sports?
It's a tough question. But I think they should be allowed to, because you should be whoever you want to be. And we are in 2022, and we're progressing.
I don't think that that's fair, not letting them in, because what makes them feel good,
Biological men, bigger hearts, feet, hands, muscle mass. People are saying women cannot physically compete with those biological advantages. What do you think about that?
I think, that that's true. They are taking, like, supplements and other things, but at the end of the day, it's just important to just give it all your best that you can, and just believe in yourself, even though there are many people who might disagree or people who agree.
On average, men have 15 to 30% more heart mass, their respiratory system's bigger, hands, feet, muscles, and even hormone blockers would maybe reduce muscle mass by just a bit. Is it fair for women to compete with that biological advantage?
I think that they should kind of compete, because if that's what makes them happy, then go ahead, but just know the risks that they're taking against, like your opponent.
Right, so maybe just train a little bit harder, you would think, for the women?
Yeah, train like a little bit harder. Just keep working out, and and you can always fulfill your dream.
Negative.
Why do you say that?
Because a man's a man, a woman's a woman, man. There's different bodies and all that. Everybody knows a man's stronger than a woman. How's that fair?
That's tough. I could see how people would say no, because if, depending where they're at in their transition, if it's male to female, then the more testosterone could affect their strength and ability, and they could have an advantage. I think everyone deserves an equal and fair share at whatever they want to do in their life, and whatever is fair, as long as they're not completely discriminated against. I think that's really important.
What do you think?
Same. Why not?
I wouldn't want to be able to do something just because I was a woman. I don't know if I would feel threatened, or like I would have a disadvantage if I was competing against a transgender woman just because her hands or heart or lungs were bigger than mine. Just being able to see that person compete and being a member up there with them would be a great honor, I think.
Whether it's a woman comes from male or male comes from woman, should be able to do both.
And the reason why we're talking about this, Florence Joyner, do you know who that is? FloJo, world record holder for the 100-meter dash for women. And her world record wouldn't even qualify her for the 2020 men's Olympic, competition. So people are saying women can't compete with the biological advantages of a male. What do you think about that?
Well, I think if it's an equal opportunity. It's just equal opportunity. If you're gonna do transgender, you got to go both ways.
Is it equal opportunity for the biological women that are in that sport?
I think it's equal opportunity for women that became male or women that become male. That's my answer.
But what about the biological women that are competing with biological males? Is it equal opportunity for the biological women that are having to compete against them?
Well, maybe it just ups the game.
Maybe it does. Train a little bit harder?
Yeah.
To me, it's just important that everyone, no matter what your race, what your ethnicity, what your background, what your sex is, that you can just do whatever you want to do. Okay, yeah, it's different and it's new. If someone feels like they're not comfortable in their body, then, they should have the right to do what they want to do to feel comfortable. It's more extreme than getting tattoos and piercings, but in my opinion, it's no different.
Well, that's a great question. But, how are you going to do that? How are you going to do it? Because most people would have an opinion on if it's a man, it's a man, if it's a woman, it's a woman. They compete differently, physically, and mentally.
Ooh, that's a hard question.
Why do you think that's hard?
Because I think that it's true that if you were born, like, for example, male, you have maybe you have an advantage over someone born female.
There's a University of Pennsylvania swimmer that's breaking all sorts of records swimming with the women. In December, there was a 1650 freestyle race, and this transgender swimmer finished 38 seconds ahead of everyone else.
My question would be, why not just add those individuals in their own particular arena? Makes more sense, wouldn't it?
So maybe separate it from the women.
Exactly. That's the competition right there.
I feel like there's a solution where transgender people are not barred from sports. Maybe there should be a third category.
Do you think people would accept a separate transgender league for transgender athletes if they believe that transgender women are women?
I think so. I think it depends as well, because also taking in mind when they transition, it depends on when you started it, because you might develop differently if you're on those hormones versus if you developed as a man and then transitioned later in your life.
So you're saying maybe just have them transition when they're, what do you think, 10 or before puberty, or what do we think?
It's up to everyone individually when they transition.
I respect transgender and being what you identify as. I'm all with that, but when it comes to competing at that level, I just think that the playing field has to definitely be equal.
So you just think for them it's unfair when it comes to actual competitions. Right now, transgender athletes, they are smashing records.
Yeah.
In women's sports.
I do. I just think it's unfair. I think it's unfair.
All right, everyone, that is it for today. So did any of these responses surprise you? I want to know. Let me know in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe for more videos and hit that bell notification button so you're notified when I post. We'll see you guys next time. We gotta say hi to Finn as well. Hello, Finn. How you doing? All right, so we met Finn. Hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe.